Welcome back everyone, Diamondback Sorrento in today. I think this is about 20-25 years old and I think this is its first service. It needs a lot of work. Is it worth doing? Borderline on this one for sure, but let's get her in the stand and see what we need, because it needs a hell of a lot, that's for sure. So let's get cracking. So it's definitely had a hard life. There's a bit of play in this derailleur. I think we'll get away with that. Cassette, it's got plenty of sharks teeth on here. That's going to go in the bin obviously. New chain. It's taken the chainset with it as well, so that's where it starts to tip over the edge as to whether it's worthwhile or not. Wheels actually look okay. The Shimano hub, so they'll clean up quite nicely. Tyres, it's got a puncture or something anyway, but we are going to change the tyres. There's some perishing on these sidewalls. They've seen better days, so we need to get these changed out. These brakes actually work, even with the brake block upside down on this side. Interesting. These hubs will clean up nicely. These are Shimano. There's no play in the bearing, so that's one saving grace. Quick release is a half decent quality stainless-ish. Front derailleur in here somewhere, underneath all the grime. Bottom bracket's got some play, so we're obviously going to change that. I say this inner chainring at the very minimum is totally worn out, and it's a one-piece unit, you can't change that. So they'll have to have a new chain set, unfortunately. That does add to the cost quite significantly though. New saddle's not going to go amiss. Seat post is in nice condition though, and it's not seized, that's a bonus. Quick release again is in good condition. The brake cables actually work. I'm going to change them anyway, but they're not actually corroded. Gear lever doesn't work at all. Goes down, but doesn't go up particularly well. And it's obviously disgustingly filthy. A little clean up, no problem. Headset's actually okay as well. Quite a decent quality unit in here. Feels good, no notchiness, no play. That'll survive. Again, front wheel bearings are good. This looks like a half decent quality hub, so we'll get that cleaned up. Again, no corrosion on here either, so it's not as bad as it looks. There's no real corrosion on here. The bar and stem are in good condition. Almost as good as new, that one. Not too bad. But yeah, it looks pretty shoddy from the outside and it needs a damn good clean and a good service, but underneath I think there's a decent bike in here. So let's crack on. First obviously I'm going to take off everything that we're not going to need, which is quite a lot of it. And then we'll start putting it back together. Give her a damn good clean along the way as well. Guy doesn't use this, it's broken I think, so we're taking this off as well. Give her a good polish. Alright, let's get going. Let's get these wheels out first of all, take the brakes, disconnect these V-brakes. Get that out. Needs a lot of work, that wheel does. But the bearings are good. Good. This headset feels great. So there might be a quick link under here somewhere, but it's just easier to take it off with the chain tool. There's that much crud on the chain, I can't see anything, so let's whip this off. Alright, so it's obviously getting new cables. Take this derailleur off. I'm going to run this derailleur through the ultrasonic to see if we can save it. It's in a pretty sorry state. Again, if you're starting changing derailleurs, then you really are in the realms of it ain't worth doing. But on an 8-speed system, the derailleurs are fairly tolerant, so I think we might get away with it, hopefully. The front one's in an even worse state than this one. Yeah, we'll see. It might be okay. Get this front one off as well. So this front derailleur is mounted on a plate that's behind the bottom bracket, so you can't just unbolt this one. You need to take the cranks off first and the bottom bracket to get this out. But we're changing these anyway, so it's no big deal. Just pop these out. So we're putting a replacement Shimano unit on this one. Yeah, cost-wise, it's obviously going to be a few quid on this one, but like the guy was saying, you can either spend what it takes to get this roadworthy and actually have quite a nice bike. It's not a bad bike under the bare bones of it. Or you could spend the same amount of money on something really, really cheap and have a pretty crap bike. It'll be new, but it won't be as good quality as this one. So it's a tough call. That's tight. That's off. So yeah, it is a tough call as to whether or not it's worthwhile financially, but you know, I'm quite a big fan of Diamondback. They're a bit sentimental to me. My first bike was a Diamondback, so I kind of felt sorry for the bike, really, to be fair. So we'll get it back on the road. So my part crank extractor just snapped off. That bit's actually broken in the end there. So yeah, it could be interesting now. That's not a replaceable part on this one. Some of them are some of them's an O-ring. I think this one was an O-ring where this bit pushes on and off, but it's actually sheared off altogether. So this should just come out now. There we go. Not too bad at all, that one. So this is basically what's holding the front derailleur on. It's just the bottom bracket, really. So that comes off now. Let's take this off. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Some sort of bottle cage, I guess. I don't know if it's broken or some weird design, but I did ask him and he's not using it, so it's coming off. Probably been here since the bike was sold. The bolts are okay though. Like I say, They're probably quite a cheap bike back in the day, the Sorrento. It's one of the lower end Diamondbacks, but yeah, these bolts that are coming out, all the quick releases, they're all fairly decent quality. They're not corroded. Oh, decent bolts. Don't need these now. I'm just going to take these off for ease of cleaning, really. They don't need to come off, but it's just going, for the 2 minutes it takes, it's going to make life a bit easier. Just whip these off. And both these pads are upside down. You notice a curvature on the pad that's supposed to follow the rim. This is not. Broke my glove, first glove I've broken today. Even these bolts are not corroded. These are half decent Tektro cast V-brakes. We'll put these in the ultrasonic with the derailleurs and see how they come out. This bike's going to look as good as new. You will trust me. There's so much rubbish in there I can't get the screw in there. There you go. Just take these off, hopefully. Yep. Not too bad at all. Undo this cable first. So much rubbish in this bolt. Ah, there you go. Okay, that's that cable off. And that's that V-brake off. A few more cables. This is going to be a bare frame very shortly. Like that, like that. Right, same on the front. Front pads are the right way up. There's loads of life left on these pads as well, so we're going to leave these on. No point in changing them just for changing's sake. They're actually pretty much as good as new. Maybe it has seen a mechanic once in its life. I don't know if the guy's just dug this out of his shed or what, but he seems pretty keen on getting it back on the road, so that's what we're doing. I'll take these off. Yeah, these are half decent rebrakes. These are Tektro's good quality cast units. Some of the real cheap steel press things are just garbage, but these ain't bad. I'll get this reflector off to clean it up as well and go back on. Right, we can get all this rubbish off now as well. Just the brake cables, gear cable. Look at the state of this thing. Disgusting. Right, there's 2 screws in here. Grips are coming off, the whole lot's coming off. And this gear cable should just come out now. There you go, down here. Click it down. Just cut this off here and pull the other bit out, easier. Like that. The grips, I'm going to use an air gun, just going to blow it off. So there's a little hole in the end of the grip. Well, there's a big hole in the end of this grip. So basically you put that in there and blow it, and it should blow the other one off in theory. Like that. Alright, I'm not going to get that one because of the size of the hole that's in the end, so we'll have to cut this one off. But it's good when it works. You just cut this off, try not to cut the handlebar. I'll probably tear these off, to be fair. I see a lot of people just cutting it and putting a big line on the handlebar, but try not to. I mean, it doesn't matter, you're not going to see it, but no need really. You just get them off. Taking this unit completely off and putting this in the ultrasonic as it is. And just the same on this side. You'll be surprised how well these come up, honestly. I know it looks pretty disgusting at the moment, but once this bike's done, yeah, that should be quite a nice bike. The guy did bring 2 bikes with him, and one I just said no because it's just no point. It's basically a BSO, a bicycle-shaped object. You know, it was cheap back in the day, and after 10 years, it's not done it any good. So that sort of thing, it's just not worth doing. Something like this, it's got the bare bones of a half-decent bike, so it is worth putting back together, in my opinion. And it gives you something to watch. So you might learn a few bits along the way, and that's what it's all about. There you go. Well, you learn the cool way to get grips off, so there's something. Right, so it's pretty much bare frame now. While it's in this condition, we may as well just drop the headset and put some grease in there, and then we know everything's basically done on there. So yeah, 20 minutes work to get it down to this stage. If I wasn't moving the tripod every 10 seconds, I could probably do it in 10 minutes. Not too difficult at all, really, and then obviously we can give it a damn good clean, and then start chucking a load of new bits on it. Quickly have a look at this headset. Let's see what we got. Need to change these gloves. Spotless, look at that. It's even got grease in there. No corrosion. Perfect. I bet when you first saw this bike, you thought, what the hell is he doing? It's a total wreck. But I've been doing this long enough now to see that underneath all the grime and grot, there's a potential to have an half-decent bike, and I could see that in this one. That's why I'm doing it. It'll live to tell another tale, another 20 years left in this bike yet. Yeah, that'll come off. Zero corrosion on this. Take off all your spacers. This is just a rubber seal. And then you can drop this fork out, hopefully. And once all that's off, just give it a quick tap. And then should break that seal. You might need a mallet if it's a bit tighter than that, but it came out no problem. Look at these bearings, they're literally as good as new. Beautiful. Good as new. Right, we'll leave this out now, just while I clean it up, and then we'll put it back together. I'll just take the seat post out now. I'll say it's not actually seed, I did check it prior. It's not far off though, look, some corrosion on there. Right, that's out, take this broken piece off, clean this reflector up. So it's just 1 6mm bolt that used to hold the saddle on. The guy said he nearly fell in the canal when the saddle fell off. So, could have been worse. The bike could have been waterlogged. So I don't normally recommend jet washing a bike, but obviously when it's in this state, there's no bearings in the frame itself, nothing on it. There's obviously no issues. I'm just going to spray some Zep on this, let it soak, and then I'm going to give it a quick jet wash. Put it on the fork as well, just around this crown. You'll be surprised how well this bike comes up. Okay, let's give that a blast. Well, that wasn't particularly effective, that's safe to say, so we're going to have to go in with a bit of elbow grease instead. Right, a lot of Zep on here. Oh, crikey. Wow, this is extremely caked on. Alright, this might take a while.
3 weeks later.
Right, that took me twice as long to clean that as it has to take all the bits off it. It was proper crusty, especially down here. I've got most of it off, but there's a couple of bits that are literally, I think they're now part of the frame. So I'll give it a polish now, but most of that's off. Customer is not going to recognise this bike, that's for sure. Oh my god, it looks like new. Wow. Well, even I'm impressed. One paint chip here, apart from that, it's pretty much immaculate. Squeaky clean, look. Oh yeah. So what's today? 23rd of June. Just ticked over 8,000 subscribers now. Yeah, well on the way to, I had a target of 10,000 by Christmas, so I think I might just make that. I think it should be about 26,000-ish by Christmas, which would be nice. So that'll be 1 year of the channel. Christmas, pretty much Christmas Day I started last year. Got monetized after 3 months, which I think by all accounts is pretty impressive for a YouTube channel. And onwards and upwards. Right, that's looking really, really, really good now. Immaculate. Right, I'll put the seat post in and then we can just clean this. Put some grease on it first. So while I've been doing that, I've put everything in the ultrasonic cleaner. I've done it off camera because it makes quite a bit of noise and people complain that it's buzzing in their ears. I've did it off camera. It's been through twice actually. It's had over half an hour in the ultrasonic, so hopefully they come up quite nice. I mean, that's come up nice and clean. So I did wash the quick release as well. It's a bit sticky, that needs some lube. So if you've got an airline, it's brilliant for cleaning or drying things. Really good. Any grease on that. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of work cleaning that, but it'll make a massive difference when it's all back together. Yeah, it'll look brand new with all the new tyres and cables and everything else through the ultrasonic. It'll look really good. Right, we're done. This is a different Enduro grease. I'm going to try this one. It came as part of a kit. It is designed for headset type bearings, so we're going to give this, I'll put the name on the screen, I can't remember what it's called, but it seems to be quite a nice grease. So these bearings are literally as good as new, so we're not changing those. Nice amount of grease in here. Oops, this is in focus. Right, some in the cup for the top bearing, and a bit for the bottom as well. So that top bearing in there, beautiful. If I was zoomed in on that, you would literally say it was a brand new bike. Right, let's get this in. Put the expander in. There's one seal that goes on there, 3 spacers, and then your stem goes on there. Clean that off, no grease on there. Stem on, just the right length, perfect. And then get your top cap. Fantastic. Good as new. Probably better than new. Better grease than it, you see. Right, that is awesome. I'm just going to show you again how to set headset pressure. I can feel that now. Just tighten these up a little tiny bit, because what you don't want to be feeling is this stem rocking on the actual steerer. You want to just nip that up very, very gently. Don't tighten it. And then just rock these bars side to side so I can feel play. You can probably see it. So we just tighten this expander down now until that play goes. Tiny bit. Gone. Yeah? You see how much I did there? It's literally just pushed it with my thumb. If you're going like this, stop. If you're doing that, then your steerer's probably too long, and all you do is bottom this cap out on the top of the fork. You're never going to take the play out of the headset like that. So it needs very, very little pressure, literally no pressure at all. Just push it with your finger like that until that play is gone. I'm literally going like this with the handlebar, and there's no play in there whatsoever now. So we're just going to straighten this bar up by eye. We'll do it back on the floor when the wheel's in, but let's get it close for now and nip these up. This is before the days when they put torque settings on absolutely everything. This is a steel steerer, aluminium stem, could even be, yeah, it's aluminium, So we don't need to go too specky on it, just nice and tight. It ain't going anywhere. All right, beautiful. Just wipe off any excess grease to make it look brand new again. You won't believe how well this bike's coming up. It's going to look amazing. This is the stuff out of the ultrasonic, so I'm just going to blow this down with an airline and just finish cleaning it by hand, and then we can start reassembling. So the derailleur itself is, yeah, it's cleaned up reasonably well. I'm going to take these jockey wheels and clean these, obviously, lubricate the pivots, but I think it might be okay. I mean, all that's coming off, look. So the ultrasonic's not a miracle worker. To be fair, the fluid does need changing as well, but yeah, that's cleaning up okay as well. So I'll split this cage, clean these jockey wheels up, and give it all the lubrication. So I've just realised that chainset I was going to use is not going to work with this type of front derailleur because it's the ring on this one is too big. But fortunately I've got some new ones coming tomorrow from Shimano. Considering this is only an Acero, which is a low-end derailleur, it's actually coming up really well. I thought this would be sort of more of a mild steel finish, but it's polishing up really nicely. There's hope yet. You are going to not believe this bike when it's finished. Neither's the customer, to be fair. Jockey wheels are not supposed to look like this. All that is just crud, look at that. Pretty bad. All the extra weight you're carrying around. Alright, they'll clean up nicely. I mean, you probably think I'm going way over the top for a basic cheap bike, and yeah, you're probably right, to be fair, but it just shows you what can be done there. If you pick something up nice and cheap off Facebook and you've got a bit of time and throw a bit of money on it, practice fixing bikes, you can get something pretty decent at the end of it. This is all real basic stuff. Anyone should be able to do this with not particularly special tools. Mostly Allen keys, really. So, the production code on this derailleur, see if we can find it. All Shimano parts have a production code, so there's one stamped here, XK, so I'll just check that reference, put it on the screen now, and you can find out when this derailleur was made. So XK. So that gives you a good idea of the indication of the age of the bike. Obviously the derailleur is probably made a few months before, but it's going to be within sort of 6 months or a year of production date. Again on this lever, you'll see the code there, probably that one there, XG. I keep meaning to print out a chart and put it on my wall so I can tell people how old the bikes are, but I'll just Google it every time. This lever's come up brand new pretty much, I knew it would do. Obviously the right hand shifter wasn't working particularly well, but now it's been through the ultrasonic and get it lubricated, it'll work perfectly well. It's just the grease gets a bit dried up in there and sticky. I've never failed to revive one of these yet, ever, in 30 years. There's a challenge. Perfect now. Looking really good actually. Let's get some lube in here. Just again trying to get the pivot points. If you get it everywhere else, it's not really critical because it's a bit of a corrosion protector as well. Get some in these pathetic excuses of bushes. It's mostly the pivot points you're trying to get. Make sure your barrel adjuster works as well. That's fine. You'd never know what a sorry state that was in. Good as new. This, however, that's for the bin. The little shark's teeth. These teeth are totally worn out. We put a new chain and new cassette on it. This is 100% going to skip. They're absolutely destroyed. Result, I've got another one. I didn't realise I had this size in stock, so we can carry on. The V-brakes, I'm just going to give them a quick wipe down now. And again, just going to get some lubrication inside these pivots here. Just to stop corrosion, really. There's nothing in here apart from a spring anyway, and there's a brass bushing. And that's it. So pads are all in really good condition, apart from the fact they're upside down. You can see the curvature there of the wheel, so they're upside down. I'll clean all this up and we'll get these fitted back on. When I'm doing brake blocks, I have this permagrit, so it's a tungsten carbide bonded permanent onto this aluminium piece here. So it's really good just for scupping up brake blocks, so we're just going to freshen the surface off. This thing never wears out basically. And that's it really. We're just taking the initial glaze off the pad there. Very expensive though. I had this for carbon fibre. I used to do a lot of carbon fibre manufacturing work as a sort of semi-DIY professional hobby. This is fantastic for carbon fibre. I've got a full set of them, but it happens to be really good for just freshening up brake blocks as well. Yeah, really good. Right, I'll spin these blocks around. So we need to get the wheels in before we can set these, obviously, but we'll put them the right way around at least for now. Set it to the rim. And we get it back on the bike on this one. Amazing. So I've just ordered a new crank puller. I've ordered a Junior rather than the Part Tool one that's just failed miserably on me. Well, about 3 years old I think, but even then you wouldn't expect that to break, so we're going with Junior this time, which I've got a lot of Junior tools and they are fantastic quality. Alright, they're good as new. Clean the covers good as new as well. Spraying them up with some lubricant in all the pivots because obviously we've washed anything out. Brake lever itself, I've just got dirty gloves, that's why that's dirty. Front derailleur's come up lovely again. Just lubricate all the moving parts on it, all the pivots and the spring unit down here. That's come up really nice. So they'll be fine. I've put the pedals off the old cranks. Still got to look at these wheels, take the cassette off. Obviously you're changing the tyres. Clean up these hubs. And apart from that, again, these are stainless spokes. This will clean them quite nicely. Shall we even save the dork disc? Let's see how that comes up. Alright, I'll make a start on this. Right, no tyre levers required on this one. Rip that straight off. I've got my safety Crocs on, don't worry. This cassette's so worn, I'm struggling to get the tool on it. Wow, that was just literally ready to fall off. Wow. It was so totally loose. That's one of the worst I've seen. If you can get these off without breaking them, they normally clean up really, really well. So you just got to flex it inwards. I know most people have put it in the bin, but I think for what we're doing on this bike, it'll look quite cool if we can get it back on. Put this in the ultrasonic layer soak for a bit. Just going to clean this up now already. Bearings are fantastic as they are, I'm not going to touch them. And the spokes feel really good. I think this will clean up beautifully. Right, I'll be back. This is Zep degreaser that I use. This is a before and that's after. As suspected, that cleaned up really nicely. It's actually a Joytech hub, it's not a Shimano hub. Blatant copy obviously, but stainless steel spokes, so they've cleaned up obviously brand new. The old dork disc, not too bad, it's a little bit stained, but it still looks really good. Yeah, so a bad set of wheels can really make or break this sort of restoration or repair. If you need to replace the wheels for any reason, then it gets very expensive very quickly. So fortunately these are in actually really, really good condition. So just going to put a new cassette on here and some new tyres. Need to put some new rim tape on as well because that's fell to pieces. That was the only casualty, just some rim tape. And get this thread off that's bugging me. There's that TTO rim tapes. These are brilliant, these are, just pop straight on. Beautiful. Tyres, we're fitting these sort of semi-slick ones really, because it's only going to be used on the street, so these are a nice chunky, sort of semi-slick, faster rolling tyre. Let's get these on. We got wheels. Good as new. These look amazing. Right, let's get them on. Should come together pretty quickly now, hopefully. I know it was worth saving. Just noticed a bit I've missed. Quick release is not clean. Beautiful. Okay, we've got a problem. New tube time for this one. Oh, try again. New tube. I had a puncture repair that I did, but it was actually a snake bite, so it had gone on both sides. So let's get a new tube in there. So let's get these brakes on. Let's get some grease on here. There's a choice of 3 holes on this one, so you always want to try and get it in the middle one, but this pad's just in the way, so it won't let me. So I'm just going to spin the pad around first. I've got to sort them all out anyway, so it's fine. And then just drop the spring into the middle hole like that. Yeah, choice of 3, I don't know if you can see that. Some of them you only got 1, but normally you've got a choice of 3. It's just a crude way of adjusting the spring tension if you need to, really. Some of them, even with the adjusters on here, you can't balance it. You can go either the higher or the lower hole to give you significantly more or less spring pressure. All right, let's get that tightened up. So there's some factory locked out on this, but it's probably not doing a great deal now, so we'll just add a drop more. A bit too much, but never mind. Add a drop more to these. Chances of one falling out are extremely slim, though I did have one the other week actually that came in with the bolt completely missing, so you never know. I'll start using a driver more for this because it saves so much time. It is limited torque, you can set this to what you want so you're not over torquing anything. And you go for a final tighten by hand. Like that. So we get these brake blocks somewhere close until we get a cable on there. So just hold them onto the rim really, loosen this off, hold it onto the rim. Tighten it somewhere where it needs to be. We can fine tune it later if need be. Right, that's somewhere close. I'll say we can fine tune it later when the cables are on. I'll do the other side. Might as well refit this reflector while we're here. Obviously been cleaned as well. There you go, beautiful. Most people would take these off, but hey. Alright, so just get these back on. We can get some grips on as well now. Just using some cheap lock-on grips here. Put the grips on before you set this, otherwise you're constantly moving it backwards and forwards. Always put the end plugs in. It's super dangerous, sort of cookie cutter type thing. If you forget that, just cuts a big hole in your stomach. It's nice. Alright, let's tighten these up somewhere. Get a sensible angle on them. It's starting to look like a bike now. Just do the other side. So the customer's coming to pick his other bike up in about an hour. I don't think I'm going to get this one finished in time. He's not expecting it for another couple of weeks, but the schedule sort of fell quite nicely for me to do this one today, so I thought I'd just crack on with it. 3 mil on these. Don't go crazy with them, they don't need that much, just to stop them spinning. Right, this bloke's going to be blown away with this bike, I'm telling you. It's going to look awesome. You all doubted me, didn't you? I know you did. Bit of grease on these as well. Hopefully you can get these on without having to undo them. Nope. You don't normally have to undo them, you can normally get them past. It's a bit tight on this one. Like that. Again, we'll set them in a minute. I've got some good projects coming up. I've got one in the back of the van at the moment that could be very interesting. I'm not going to put a spoiler on it yet, but stay tuned. Something very different. Just holding the caliper onto the rim, get this set straight. People talk about toe in and toe out. To be honest, I've never ever bothered unless I've got a particularly squeaky brake that's just not playing ball with any other thing. Then I'll try and give it some toe, but even then it don't make any difference. The problem normally is you've got very cheap, flexible, pressed steel V-brakes, and the flex in the whole brake is where the noise is coming from. These are pretty decent cast ones, so I don't expect these will squeak. But you can put, certainly you can toe the blocks in if you really want to, but in reality I find it makes almost no difference. I missed a bit. It's annoying me when I miss a bit that's clean now, because the rest of the bike's so clean. He's literally going to think I've been to the shops and bought me a new bike. Well, I hope he does, I hope he's mightily impressed. I'll be a bit annoyed if he's not. Right, brakes are on. I'm just refitting this derailleur now. A little bit of grease on the bolt. There's not a replaceable dropout, but it is a steel frame, so you can easily straighten them if need be. I probably should have checked it before I put that on, but we'll see how we go. Oh no, that's miles out. Let me just straighten that now. I could see that without checking. Alright, good old 2-pre comes out. Derailleur hanger tool. It's absolutely miles out, I can see it from here. Jeez. Alright, let's get this straightened up. Line up to the valve hole and push this in to the elastic band stops. Hit the rim, not the tyre. Like that. We'll drop it down to the bottom and see. There should be no difference between there and there. Alright, so down the bottom now. Again, drop it down to your valve hole just so you've got a reference point, and then push her in. Yeah, it's quite a bit bent, so we can just pull that back. We're on steel hanger, it'll bend no problem, so literally all we're doing is bending this out until we're about there. So we'll reset this bottom one now. Like that. Go to the top, and again it should be the same. You're allowed sort of a 3mm tolerance, so about 2 or 3 mil there, so that's fine for an 8-speed system, that'll work. Just check side to side as well. Not too bad, we need to just go this way a fraction. Like that. Good, perfect. Right, that's straight now. Right, let's try again. I don't know why, I just wasn't expecting a steel frame to be bent because they're normally pretty indestructible, but never mind, it's straight now. Right, let's get this on. Good, I missed a bit, there's a bit of dirt on this quick release. Look at that, not bad at all that. Sticker's a bit tatty, but apart from that, she's good. Right, that's on. So now we need a bottom bracket, and obviously that's going to hold in the front derailleur back onto the frame. Put chainset back on. Alright, so this front mech, literally put it on there and screw the bottom bracket in, and that holds it in. And there's a little clamp that goes around the frame like this, and that's all that holds it in. So you put plenty of grease on there first. That's the front derailleur fixed. It's going to need some adjustment. It's been hitting the frame here because the stops are out. It's actually hitting the frame, so we can adjust that. I'll put a 118 in here. It's a bit of a guess because they don't really tell you a spec online, but it looks okay at the moment. The question is, do we have clearance for this on the chainstays? Loads of room. And that shifter will clear that, no problem. Good. Perfect. Lovely. Loads of room. Alright, now we're starting to get somewhere. Look at that, that was beautiful. Good stuff. Right, what's next? Cables, I think. Even though they weren't too bad, I'm going to put some nice shiny ones in. The threads on that, so nice. Right, so we can start putting some cables in this now. Let's get some gear cables in. Treating it to some stainless steel cables as well. Why not? Right, so put that in. Just pull some tension on the cable and make sure your lever's operating. Beautiful. Make sure you are in 1/8 and line this up with 1/8 because there's a little slot in here that needs to line up with that. Otherwise it's going to be a bit challenging to get it in if you try and do it like that. So line it up with 1/8 and it should just drop in like that. I spent 10 minutes looking for a green screwdriver. I wonder I can find it. It's chameleon now. Right, we're getting somewhere now. Let's buy it. I've not had a chance to stand back and look at this yet, but this must look awesome compared to what it did when it came in. Oh my god. Don't do these tight, these are literally just plastic dust cover, so just finger tight really. A little bit more than finger tight. Same on this one. Right, we'll need this barrel adjuster and it's already unscrewed, so let's screw this back in and then give it on sort of 1 or 2 turns out. That's fine. Again, make sure it's on the gear that you're actually in first. It goes on. Just drop the world's smallest screw somewhere. Never mind. Where's that gone? So now we need to cut some cable housings. Just line your slots up so you can get these new cables in, on there, and in the front there. Just going to cut a load of new housings now. I'll do that off camera because it's not very exciting. Right, that's the first one. Let's get this threaded through. And there. Into there. A little short bit from here to here. Just copy the length of your old housings. They're normally pretty good, especially if they're the original ones. Last but not least, this one. That goes down to the pinch bolt. Right, we're cabled. Well, this limit screw is absolutely miles off here, so let's straighten that first. So you can see here, this jockey wheel is absolutely nowhere near where it should be. It should be directly underneath there. So obviously this derailleur hang has been bent and someone's played with these over the years to accommodate that. So we need to set that correct now. Let's just screw the high limit screw in. Mild that. And that's that. Just check the low, it's probably out as well. Yeah, miles into the spokes. Tighten that up. That's about right. Good. So we can get this actually tightened down now. Unscrew that a couple of turns just to give you some flex either way. Put it tight and then just clamp down. Hold that when you do its final one. Right, we just need to bed these in later, so we may need to readjust that. Right, and that's the front one just threaded up. Just check that's in the right gear. Yep. And this just goes through to a pinch bolt down here. Pull it through the hole in the frame if you want. It gives you a bit more leverage then. Because you do want this one fairly tight. Clip it behind its little bracket and nip it up. We'll probably need to adjust this front derailleur for the new chainset. It's fine. The limit screws might need a tweak. I'll just nip that up for now. Looking very plausible. Nice. We do need to stop that limit screw because it's like, say, smashing into the frame. So we're just going to screw this low in a bit. That's stopped it off the frame now. I think it's probably going to need a bit more on the high screw. A bit more travel. So the cable tension will pull that up there then once we adjust that. Just get these pedals in, plenty of grease on your pedals. You definitely don't want these seizing up. Using the old pedals, might let the bike down a little bit, but we've got to draw the line somewhere. Okay, other one. Good. Well, we are cooking on gas now. Just going to trim these gear cables while I'm here. Okay. Need some brake cables now. Let's get them on. Front brake cable. Screw your barrel adjuster in on this one. Again, fresh new housing. That'll go down to the V-brake. Also fitting a new noodle as well. Well, they call it a noodle, but that's its name. And obviously a new boot for that as well. Good. The V-brake's probably the easiest brake to set up on, in my opinion. Pads can be a bit fiddly sometimes, but the brakes themselves, it's pretty hard to get it wrong. Alright, just pull that in. Make sure you're still in your lever. Don't pull them on completely because you need a bit of slack, so pull it onto there sort of thing. And then we're just letting out sort of 3 or 4 millimeters there. Nip it up gently and try your lever. Feels great. Tighten that up. Okay, done. Trim the cable. That's a nice brake. Balanced as well, lovely. What I like to do with a V-brake is this cable here, tuck it down to the sort of length here. You can either cable tie it. Normally if you've got a spring here, you can hook it behind the spring, but I leave it quite long and out of the way, like that. Obviously put an end cap on there. So if you've got a spring, normally it would hook around there lovely, but just put a bit of a kink in it like that on this Tetra. Just tuck it somewhere out of the way. You don't want it sticking out here at 90 degrees, it just gets in the way. Same on, exactly the same on the back, just hook the new cable through and the new housings. Job done. So this housing's going down the other side of the frame opposite the gear cables. And there, and round to the top of the frame there. Beautiful. Just the right length. We've still got to put a chain on and set the gears, but that shouldn't take very long, hopefully. Through there, put it onto the rim, back it off a smidge. Nip it up, try a lever. Beautiful. Well, the V-brake gods are shining on me today. Just going to straighten this block up a little bit because it's a bit skewiff. There she goes, that's perfect. Just make sure this top of this pad doesn't touch the tyre when you're putting the brakes on. That's the most critical part of that. And cut this again. Again, cut it fairly long. We're going to try and tuck it in here again. I'll leave it down there somewhere. It's annoying this doesn't have springs because they sit behind the springs perfectly like this normally. There's no harm putting a little cable tie around here if you want to. Right, just check they're balanced. And just balance it on these screws. Not bad. Right, time for a chain now then. Let's drop this through here. Let's go small, small, see how we're looking. Absolutely huge at the moment. What we don't want is obviously slack chain, and we don't want this chain touching the jockey wheel here, so we need to shorten that to clear the jockey wheel basically. We've got a lot of capacity in this system, so we'll be fine. So we've got a split link on this one, so we're going to basically replicate that one to there, because that's going to be okay. That's going to be too long. So we're going to that one there, and we'll take it off here to replicate that split link. So we're taking off 1, 2, 3, 4 links. Yeah, so we're just taking off 4 links on that one. You'll have loads of capacity in this massive derailleur, so big won't be a problem. No direction on these ones. Shimano's have directions, there's no direction on this one. And use your chain tool. You might have people telling me I need to just start smashing the pedal with my hand to click it in. Do you know how many times I do this every day and how broken my hand would do that? No thanks. Moment of truth, does it work? I don't see why not. First of all, we're going to seat the gear housings though, so we're going to press the lever hard, very hard, without pedaling, and that'll give you a lot of slack in this cable. So just pull this back through the derailleur. So we just back, that's why we don't do that super tight. Back it off, pull that nice and tight now. And now we can tighten it. Let's go, 1 gear. Perfect-ish. It's a bit noisy, you can hear it drying. Oh, no problem. Right, it's not going down, so too much cable tension. That's why we unscrewed this a couple of turns. So screw that back in a couple of turns. Try that shift again, go back up 1, and then down 1. Better. And that, working gears. All right, I'm going to stick it in the middle of the block now. We'll try the fronts. I'm going to make a video at some point on how to set gears, but I really want to get it right, so I'm not rushing into it. I've got a few ideas. At the moment, the part tool one I find is probably the best by far at the moment, so if you want something to try, check theirs out, it's very good. Right, this cable's too slack here, it's not going anywhere near where it should be, so I'm just going to pull that back through. Again, I just seated that cable. Because I also adjusted that limit screw in, basically what that does there is gives you slack, so that's why that needed to come through as well. Right, let's try that again. 1 click without pedaling. Won't go up. So you've got your barrel adjuster now, unscrew that. That's 4 or 5 turns there. Almost, there we are. So drop that back down. Again, 1 click and then pedal. Not quite there. A bit more. Unscrewing the barrel adjuster, 1 click. Straight up and down, and then the top one should be no problem. Beautiful. Got gears. Not the straightest wheel. It's going up and down a little bit. The rubbing you can hear is these little bits of rubber still on the new tyre. That's just pinging against the brake blocks here. You can hear those rubbing. But we'll just adjust this slightly out as well. Just using this as a Petey's wet lube. I'm just trying to get rid of so many old bottles of lube I've got. I'm just trying to stick just to finish line. So yeah, if you've got this far in the video and you've enjoyed it and you enjoyed the rest of my videos, if you're not already done so, then you know the score. Hit that big fat subscribe button, please. Thumbs up, likes, all that stuff. It really helps the channel. So I've also got super thanks enabled, so if you want to chip in a couple of quid towards future projects, etc., I'd be really, really gratefully received. Thank you. Right, we're lubricated. Last but by no means least is a saddle, obviously. So just going to put this reflector back on, first of all. I'll drop it out of the way, it doesn't need to be right up there. Good, so saddle-wise, I'm debating what to put on here. It's going to be perfectly fine, or have a Charge. Charge is a fantastic saddle. However, I've only got it in brown, but I think that might work. Let's try. What do you guys think? I'm undecided on that one. I think probably the black one's going to be slightly better. If I had a black Charge, I'd definitely put that on, but out of stock at the moment. I need to get some more in because they're awesome saddles. Okay, let's put the black one on. Every single comment's now saying you should have put the Charge on. Never mind. I can't win them all. Right, let's get this on. Let's get it level. I've not clamped the top tube as well, by the way. It's just resting in. Everyone's going to say you should have put the Charge on, aren't they? Never mind. Right, that's tight. Quick release is not tight though. That's got it. Good. So for the ruined thing that came in, this has actually come up incredibly well. I think you're going to have to agree on that one. Love it or hate it. That's a bike again. That's got years left in it. Fantastic. End of a long day. This has been a bit of a stretch to get this one done today, but it's done. And I think you'll all agree this has come out absolutely amazingly. Probably a lot of you had your doubts when it came in, but I had faith. There's life in the old girl yet. And it actually looks like a bicycle again, not just a wreck. So yeah, a few quid spent on this one. I get it. I think personally it's worth doing. Yes, you could spend the same on a new bike, but a new bike is not going to be the same quality as this bike. This is pretty old, but you know, the components are pretty good. You can see the stainless parts. They're all really good quality. The wheels, fantastic stainless spokes. You're not going to get that. You're going to get cheap galvanized rubbish. It ain't going to last. This has done 20 years. It's got another 20 years left in it yet, trust me. So yeah, it can be done. It's a tough call whether or not it's worth doing, but on this one, I think it's worth doing. I hope you agree. If you're not, hope you enjoyed watching the video. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So, right, I'm just going to clear up. It's the end of the day now. I'm just going to tweak these brakes tomorrow morning when I get back up, but for now, it's the end of the day. So thank you very, very much for watching and stay tuned for more. Thank you very much.